Hey guys, it's postboxpat. Welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to be comparing the QUADCRASHER and the ATK and finding out which one is definitely the better vehicle. Now, generally we know that the QUADCRASHER can drive through like materials and just ram through buildings and get kills easier, but we're not going to be adding that in to today's comparison. We're going to be comparing speed, we're going to be comparing like terrain drives and races and stuff like that. So to make this video a little bit more interesting, I want you guys to go down to the comment section down below and comment down below which one do you think is going to be better. Do you think the ATK is going to be better, or do you think the QUADCRASHER is going to be better than the ATK for speed and maneuverability, like for example like going over terrain and stuff like that? But thank you to my friend Master Vim. We've actually worked together to be able to produce this. We've tested out a bunch of different races, we've tried out a bunch of different techniques, and that is why we're going to be showing you guys this gameplay today. So let's get straight into the gameplay and show you guys the first race, which is me on the QUADCRASHER and Master Vim in the ATK. So I'm going to be showing you guys this race, so let's stay tuned for this and check this one out. So off I go in my QUADCRASHER. You can see the countdown there. We've got 9 seconds left. We're going to be racing Master Vim in this one. Now, to be honest, with the QUADCRASHER, from what I've noticed so far, the acceleration is extremely fast. You can actually accelerate a lot faster than the ATK, because obviously the ATK doesn't have that option for the boost. Now, having that to your side allows you to be able to kind of beat the ATK in acceleration, but it's pretty interesting to see some of the outcomes that we actually get in some of these things that you probably wouldn't expect to the actual ATK and the QUADCRASHER itself. So as we race around the track by Paradise Palms, you can see Master Vim has overtaken me using them boosts from the ATK, which is a pretty interesting concept. Now, what I've noticed that you can do here with the quad, you can actually kind of drift a little bit using the boost, but you don't have the ability to fully drift as you do with the ATK, which allows the ATK to maneuver around these corners a lot faster. But the downside to the ATK that you'll see in a minute is it does require a lot more skill. So the quad itself is a very basic vehicle to drive. It simply just has a boost and it turns, and obviously you can use the honk if you want to as well, and you can brake there and then accelerate, but there's not too much difficulty really from what I've noticed. Like, you can kind of just ram through stuff and just turn easily. You can see how quick I'm turning on the corners there, and you can see I'm gaining on Master Vim here, and I'm being able to like maneuver around these corners a lot quicker, trying my best to cut as much as I can without actually missing out any of the little like circles. And here I think I do miss this one out slightly. Oh, it's not this one, it might be the next one. You can see me here getting pushed around by Master Vim and his ATK because of the boost, but you can see I'm cutting corners, and that little mistake there from Master Vim gives him a little bit of an advantage. But you can see here, accidentally cut the corner slightly, but not too much. I basically went through it and I ended up beating him by a few seconds anyway. So it was a pretty interesting concept, and technically the quad is a little bit faster than the ATK if you can beat it if you're a better driver. So the next test was to switch vehicles and try without actually getting that boost head start on the quad, because obviously if you both enter the vehicles at the same time, this was an interesting concept. So I jumped in, me and Master Vim started basically together. I got a little bit of a head start, but not too much on it. So I'm in the ATK, and I'm actually quite a decent ATK driver. Well, so you know, I just said that I actually hit the wall, but generally I'm not the best, but I'm pretty decent. I would say most of the time I can get the drifts pretty perfect, and here you can see me drifting out wide trying to get that boost on Master Vim. If you take a little look at the mini-map on the top right, I've not put Master Vim's gameplay in just because I just wanted to get this video as quickly done as I could, and to be honest, it's just watching someone drive a quad. It's nothing too major, but you can see Master Vim there on the mini-map slightly behind me. Again, I've got a huge advantage on him right here. I'm getting a lot of turns a lot quicker, and these amazing drifts that I'm pulling off are allowing me to get that extra boost. And generally the ATK is probably slightly faster from what I've like experienced so far, and obviously we haven't come up with an exact outcome yet which one is better out of these two until the end of the video. We'll obviously conclude that at the end, but you can see me speeding around this track here, going through the little circles there. Nice little like, I don't even know what that drift was, but it was pretty cool. And you can see I'm trying to get the red drift. Obviously the ATK goes blue, orange, red, and the red one you have a bigger boost and much more boost on it. So I've got a yellow on there, so it's not orange, it's almost orange but yellow. And you can see me boosting around there with the yellow one again, spinning around this corner, and I've got a massive lead on actual Master Vim himself, and he's not crashed or anything. So you can see here, it doesn't matter that I had the head start. Even if he had the boost at the start, the ATK would have absolutely battered him, finishing the track in in 1 minute 29, which was awesome. So I managed to do that, and that was it for the racetrack. So generally the outcome of that, I'd say the ATK is faster if you have a good driver, but obviously the quad itself is pretty fast if the ATK driver isn't the best. So next up was a straight race. So this one we went straight into it. Simply we had to race each other to the end. The first one to make it to the end was the winner, and me and Master Vim were just absolutely racing it down the track as much as we could on this big straight that we created. And you can see I'm in the lead of him slightly because you can't see him in front of me, but next minute he somehow boosts ahead of me. My boost seems to just lack off a little bit, and the ATK just takes that lead. My boost just charges here, and I boost over the line, and he just beats me. So we'll go into slow motion and just make sure that he does beat me here. So generally, if my boost charged a little bit earlier, I may have been able to cross the line before him, but over time, if this just keeps repeating, the ATK is going to gain a bigger speed advantage and gain that extra distance. So generally, the ATK is definitely faster in this situation. You can see there, I actually hit the ground before him because of the boost on the downward fall. I believe I hit the ground before him, but he actually just beats me slightly on the race. So it's pretty cool, it's pretty awesome. We'll have to see exactly how it's going to turn out in the next race when we redo it. So here we go again, me on the quad, him in the ATK. We'll go for it, and I'm going to start with a boost as soon as I can get ready. So let's go with it. And I boosted straight away to get that head start as much as I can, but you can see the ATK has got decent acceleration there in that situation, so he did pretty well. Now the quad does have that extra boost. I think he may have pressed the acceleration slightly before me, but again, it's a very similar race to the last one. I'm pretty close to him. I'm trying to gain on him with this boost, but my vehicle is just not going fast enough for this situation. I just can't cross the line in time, and you can see my boost doesn't charge, and I don't manage to catch him up. So the ATK in a straight run situation is generally slightly faster than the quad. If you had to race across the entire map, it would probably win the ATK. So the next challenge was for us to drive into Wailing Woods along the road. Now this was an interesting concept because we did this twice. We first went to Wailing Woods, and then we decided to go towards Pleasant Park. So the plan for this one was to head along the road into Wailing Woods, and this kind of shows exactly how we can beat each other using the ability of the quad's ability to kind of ram through vehicles and stuff, and the ATK obviously only having the ability to drift. We'll have to see which one generally is the better vehicle in this situation. So let's go for a little race with this one. It's a pretty interesting concept, and I definitely did enjoy doing this one, and I hope to do some more videos like this in the future with quads and ATKs, and maybe if they add any other vehicles. Obviously we have the shopper and trolley, but generally we all know that the shopper and trolley is falling down and down and down every single game now. Less people are using it because of these, well, basically they've added in more vehicles, haven't they? So yeah, you can see me here boosting through a few vehicles. He's actually off-cutting the road a little bit there, which is kind of cheating, but it's alright. We can test out a few things. He actually blocks me off there, so we're just testing out kind of like a competitive race, and he actually hits that a little bit, and I try and like flick him back round with the ATK. But the quad generally off-road is going to give you a bigger advantage because of the ability to boost around, and if you manage to get a jump in, say if I went up one of these mountains and get a huge jump, or someone's built like a ramp up or something and you boost up that ramp, you're definitely going to be able to overtake the ATK in that situation. But generally just driving through kind of all these roads and streets and that, you can see I've got a pretty good advantage with the boost because there's not really much for him to get them huge boosts up with the ATK, so he's not able to catch me up because I'm able to turn the corners faster there and then. But you can see on the radar he's not that far behind at all, and seeing though he did crash for one bit, I'm actually doing pretty bad really, because he's only just behind me. You can see there on the map he's not far at all behind. So I'm speeding through this. You can see a few obstacles here as well. There's a llama in the way of the track. Dodge that as much as I can. He's going to have to go around that with the ATK. I didn't ram it, and I keep going around. I tried destroying that camper van there, but it just didn't work, and that definitely did slow me down. You can see here the boost of the ATK allowing him to catch me up, and then in this situation here it kind of all went wrong. We kind of just lost like track where we were going, and we both started going down a different path and stuff, and we lost the road, but it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of a test. You can see here taking the advantage of the hill there. That's where the quad does come in pretty handy, and that's it. I get the huge advantage there on the boost, and it just allows me to easily beat him to the Wailing Woods maze, which was our challenge. We kind of all went a little bit off track there at the end, but I'm just demonstrating why the quad would generally beat the ATK across long distance like areas, especially if you're going up hills and stuff, because you can get that advantage with the jump. But if it's a short distance, or maybe you've got the opportunity to have a team of 4 in your vehicle, The ATK, for example, when we race to Pleasant Park right now, we're going to take a road all the way there, so there's no off-road at all. It's simply just following the track and generally a complete race through kind of not exactly flat land, but the land is pretty easy to drive with an ATK. So this is a good idea and a good kind of like competition to see which one wins out of these two. The storm is closing, so we've got to be quick, but I guess the storm's not going to do too much damage to us, so we'll be able to see who's going to make it to the petrol station in Pleasant Park first. So you can see I get a huge head start there with the acceleration. Again, a great advantage of this. The ability to drive through things does give this vehicle the upper hand against the ATK for that. For example, if you're driving through maybe retail or like Salty or like Pleasant Park, you can just absolutely crush through buildings and find players, whereas the ATK lacks that ability, but it only carries 2 players, the quad, whereas the ATK does carry a total of 4. So we are off on this crazy off-road race. The ATK is just slightly behind me. You can see it bumping into me, using that ability from its boost to be able to get the lead from me, which is dead frustrating. You can see if it gets the boost perfect, it can actually get almost a similar boost, the blue one, is to the actual quad itself, which is an interesting concept because obviously if you upgrade the boost to yellow or red, you're going to get a huge advantage over the quad, and he's just absolutely storming ahead of me, and it was really surprising for me to kind of get beaten by the ATK in every game mode. Other than the first race, because Mastervin wasn't the best ATK driver to start with, it improved over the hour of us testing this out, but generally at the start when we were doing them first few races, his ability to drive the ATK was it wasn't super, it was pretty decent, but it wasn't amazing, and that allowed me to actually win on that racetrack. But other than that, generally the ATK is a better vehicle for speed and general driving across roads and stuff like that. For example, maybe if you're traveling across this sort of like the north side of the map where it's quite flat and there aren't too many hills, the ATK is definitely a better option than the quad itself. The ATK also has that ultimate drift that you can pull off on it, but if you're going over more of a terrainy land or you want to go and ram some people, maybe the quad could be a better vehicle and a better option for you. But generally there is no way I'm going to be able to catch this ATK up now. Obviously if I took a shortcut across the grass, then that wouldn't really count, and you can see me there taking a little bit of a shortcut. I didn't want to take a huge shortcut because that's cheating, but I'm trying my best to catch this up without actually cheating too much, and it's just physically impossible. I'm using the boost every time it recharges as much as I can, all the way I'm using the boost sometimes, and sometimes I'm only using it half. I just can't catch this. Now if there was a ramp or a hill and I timed my boost perfectly, as just as I went up off the hill or off the ramp, you're obviously going to get a huge head start and a huge advantage to the ATK. But there you are. The ATK has beaten me in every single challenge apart from the first one, depending on the driver's skill. So generally the ATK is a better vehicle than the quad, but the quad does give you the ability to kill players and ram through obstacles. Other than that, hope you guys have enjoyed this like versus video. Hope it has kind of taught you something. I didn't expect the ATK to win. If I could have voted at the start just like you guys did, I would have voted the actual quad itself to be better than the ATK. But in this case, after doing all the challenges and all the tests, the ATK comes out on top with faster speed, better maneuverability for long distance, and just generally a better vehicle for traveling to locations. The quad having its advantage with acceleration off high hills and maybe ramps, and also the ability to kill and ram through structures. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you're new around here, please do stick around for daily Fortnite content, and I produce so much content relating to challenges, tips and tricks, all sorts of Fortnite content, and it'd be awesome if you guys could stick around. Once again, this is postboxpat signing out.